You're listening to
They're going to call it a hard foul. They're going to call it a hard foul.
All right, we're back with another episode of Hot Foul. As always, I'm Jim Quigley with my brother Mike, and the Celtics know who they are playing in the first round. It's the Philadelphia 76ers, which tips off Sunday at 1 o'clock. And Mike, we are brought to you by the what?
The Fan First Sports Network, bitch. And we have the mayor in Lawrence, Massachusetts, secretly taping people, and apparently James Dolan doing it too.
Yeah, we'll get to the Dolan stuff. That is really disturbing article that came out of Wired. Some great reporting stemming from a lawsuit, but if we have time, we'll touch on that at the end. But let's start, Mike, where we should start, and that's with the Celtics, 76ers. And I have four kind of thoughts or questions about the series, and I'm just gonna, there was no prep here, folks. So Mike is getting these cold just like you.
Okay.
Let's start with this. The Celtics center rotation. Who do you think we see first off the bench? It doesn't matter. And will that end that way when the series ends? Meaning, will the guy that Joe goes with to start the series will be the guy that Joe goes with to end the series?
I think he starts with Vucevic, and I think he ends with Gaza because Gaza's better.
How long of a leash do you think he'll have for Vucevic?
Joe's a good coach, so it's going to be short.
I don't think it matters. I think
not yet. It doesn't matter. Not
in
yet.
this, yeah, exactly. Not for this round, because I think without Embiid, I think the best play might be for Tatum to get backup minutes at the 5 to defend the pick and roll against Maxey and Edgecombe. I don't think Vucevic or Gaza are really cut out to do that job. I think they'll both get a shot, but I think by the end of this series, and when it comes to not crunching time or whatever, you're going to see some Tatum at the 5. And without Embiid, that's definitely something the Celtics can do.
Yeah, I think it all depends. If Gaza gets his shot and he's grabbing offensive rebounds and setting great screens and hitting threes, it's not going to matter that Maxey's getting his because the Celtics is going to have so many guys that are beating up on Philadelphia. It's going to be a good series, though. I think it's going to be a very entertaining series with close games. I do. And I think we can see some high scoring games too, which I think it's going to be a fun series.
Okay. So on that, Maxey is the key to the engine for the Sixers, right? I think he's a player that matters. I think everyone else kind of plays off of him. I think, obviously Edgecombe's a good player. Paul George has been playing better. I don't consider either one of them superstars, at least in Edgecombe's case, not yet. They have one high-class superstar on this team, and it's Tyrese Maxey. And he has tremendous speed, and he can get to where he wants in the paint. If the Sixers, who don't run a lot of screening roles, do that against the Celtics with Maxey, could cause some problems. Now, the Celtics, the last time they played, Jordan Walsh got the assignment and did a really good job. Do you think this is going to be a Jordan Walsh series? Do you think that's the guy that's going to get most of the cracks at Maxey here in round 1?
Not if Derek White's hitting threes. Not if Sam Hauser and Shireman are hitting threes. It depends. Obviously he'll get some run. We'll see how it's flowing. His first real playoff experience. The other thing with Maxey is Maxey causes a lot of turnovers. On the other end, if Philly can get out and run with him and VJ Edgecombe, and that's and Maxey can hit deep threes. He's kind of really hurt the Celtics because he has the ability to get to the paint, but he's shot well against them too this year. And actually, Edgecombe has shot well against the Celtics too, and the two of them have been a bit of a menace on the defensive end. The Celtics have had uncharacteristic high turnover games against Philly this year. So those two are the key, I think, for Boston is really mitigating the impact that they have on both ends. And yeah, I think Jordan Walsh can definitely do that. It'll be interesting to see if that's what Joe goes to early. But there's so many matchups that the Celtics can exploit down the other end that I don't know how much it matters. We'll have to just wait and see.
Yeah, I think we're going to see some Walsh on him. I don't see the Celtics go more than 9 deep, maybe 8 sometimes, depending on, you know, what the game flow looks like and things like that. But I think Walsh is going to get some minutes and have an opportunity. I think within the starting 5, that really, I'm not so sure there's a great matchup for Maxey defensively. White is more of a help defender than he is an on-ball guy. He can do some on-ball, but I think by doing that, you take it away from your defense and the strength of your defense. I'd rather see White come over on help on Maxey with his length and his ability to, protect the rim and things like that. I think he's just more effective and more helpful to your defense that way. Maybe it's Jaylen Brown is that guy, but again, you're asking a lot from your number one offensive option to go ahead and do that.
Gonna have to be White, Jimmy. Within the starters, it's probably going to have to be him because it's not going to be Sam Hauser, and I don't know how Hauser matches up on Edgecombe either. So that's going to be interesting. To see what the starting lineup is. I mean, I'd consider go with Shireman, but
Yeah, so it's interesting. Like that's why I wonder if we might see a quick hook from the starting 5 if Maxey gets going, Hauser goes to the bench, a guy like Jordan Walsh comes in, and you can kind of continue with that switchable length that you have on the floor. So we'll see. It's going to be an interesting chess match, but he's the key. He's the key. You need to slow him down. He can't average 30 plus a game in this series. I mean, if he gets going, he's feeling good. The other players are going to play off that, and that's when the Sixers will think they have a chance. And then I think you hit on the other key. The Celtics all season long have won the margins. It's a thing that Joe has talked about at length. Win the turnover battle, win the rebounding battle. And I think this is, for the Sixers to have a chance here, they need to cause what you were talking about, what they were able to do the first couple times they played the Celtics, not as much in games 3 and 4, but the first couple games this season, cause a lot of turnovers, get runouts. They're deadly once they get a live ball turnover because of the speed of guys like Maxey and Edgecombe and their finishing ability
and Quentin Grimes.
Yeah, and Quentin Grimes, but especially those two, just elite athletes and skilled basketball players. So that's how they can get you. And then they want to have second chance opportunities on the offensive glass. So if you limit those things and you make them a half-court team and you limit their shots on that offensive end, I understand some of these games could be close, but the Celtics are just the better team, and I think the margin is greater than people are really giving it credit for. I think now that the Sixers are here, that we're getting a sense of maybe they're a little bit better than they really are. I think there's a decent-sized gap, especially with Tatum back, and that brings me to my next question for you. The Celtics offense has become so diversified this year. They really ran a couple different things before Tatum. A lot of it was getting Brown into space and allowing him to just drive, become maybe the best driver in the game. Him and Donnie Avia from Portland, one of those two. They also create a tremendous amount of space for their off-ball shooters. Just getting guys like Pritchard and White or Hauser and whoever, Shireman, really good looks over and over again. A lot of great movement, some of it off their span action. Now, there's a third element to this offense that wasn't here early in the year, the Tatum Cater pick and roll. And once Tatum gets going downhill and his ability to see the floor, and I think his passing is better than it's ever been, it becomes just another element that you have to defend.
Well, and they have to use it against Andre Drummond and Bona. Like they have to, even if Embiid's playing, they have to try it against Embiid to see how he's moving.
But my question to you is, you can go any direction you want. Yeah, there's a question here.
Okay.
So if you're the Sixers, you can't take away it all. What's the number one thing out of those 3 things I just said where the Celtics have had high success? Brown's drives, the offensive, versatility to get their off-ball shooters open and the three ball going, with like Pritchard and White and Shireman and guys like that, or this new element of the Tatum pick and roll. What's the thing that if you're Nick Nurse, are you saying, okay, this is what we have to take away from the Celtics?
You have to try to take away Brown and Tatum, and you're giving up the open shots to other guys. That's what I would do. I mean, the other philosophy is you like stick to those other guys, and this has worked in the past for other teams, and you allow Brown and Tatum. This is what Cleveland typically does, and I think it's stupid, but this is what Cleveland does: is you single coverage Brown and Tatum, and you just overreact to everything else and don't let anybody else beat you. But if I was Nick Nurse, I would be letting Hauser, Derek White, and whoever's out there shoot threes, and I'd just be hoping they miss.
Yeah, I think there's an element to that for sure. I think the other element is you didn't see a lot of traps on Brown or double teams. It was weird all season long, even as well as he was playing. He was a straw that stirred the drink for the Celtics all year long. I think I would throw some of that at Brown if I'm Nick Nurse and see how he reacts.
Yeah, I haven't. I got to be honest. Like, it's been a while since Nick Nurse is like coach in the playoff series, right? That I really watched it.
Yeah, a couple of years ago when they went
against
7.
the Knicks is I think the
Oh,
last
that was
time.
Doc Rivers actually, the Celtics, and
Yeah, so
yeah,
just thinking about like that's something Eric Spoelstra would do. He would switch up his looks a lot against Boston to try to confuse them, and it would steal some games in the series. And I think because of the lack of talent in Philly right now, they have to mix up their bag, and I would assume that they're going to. I mean, they're not a stupid coaching staff, so I would assume that they're going to be throwing different looks at Boston.
I think one thing that teams have tried to do over the years, Miami had some varied success with it, is going to zone. I
Yeah,
think going to zone against this Celtics team, especially with Tatum back, would be digging your own grave. But
especially
we'll
with
see.
the like they've really have accomplished like that zone defense when Tatum's here now. It's not like Marcus Smart's out there. They
No.
got Tatum right there at the free throw line, and they've been dominating zone for a while now. I
Yeah.
don't think when I think about mixing up your looks, I'm not talking about zone defense. I'm talking about picking up full court. I'm talking about having your best two defenders on Tatum and Brown and seeing if these other guys can beat you. If they are beating you, then taking away those shooters, like taking. I mean, yeah, it's just you got to constantly switch it up. I think, but I don't think zone really works outside of maybe on a couple inbound passes.
Yeah, to confuse teams. I
Yeah,
love when teams actually do that on inbound passes. The Celtics under Brad Stevens used to do that all the time. It actually cost them against the Raptors and Nick Nurse. Remember that when
I
OG
do.
Anunoby hit that three when it could have been 3-0 in the bubble. Is passed it over tackle fall. It was like the most perfect pass shot inbound play you could ever draw up with point
Yeah,
for
Kyle
whatever was
Lowry
on the
threw
cross.
that pass.
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
perfect. Like
it was.
it was just a perfect play. So my last question is the most obvious one of them all. Tell me your thoughts on the series. How do you think this is going to go? I'm assuming you're picking the Celtics.
Oh yeah,
But give your rationale of what you think is going to happen and how you think it's going to look.
yeah. I think it's going to be tight going into fourth quarters, and the Celtics are going to pull away in most of these games and might even win some of them in double digits. But I do think that I respect Tyrese Maxey a lot, maybe too much. I think he's good enough to win 2 games. And yeah, I think the Celtics are winning in 6, and I think we're going to see some high scoring games. That's what I think. I just think there's something about Etchcom and Maxi that kind of drive this team crazy, and I think they're going to drive the fans crazy. They're going to get theirs,
You
and the
think it's going to go
Celtics.
6 games, is what you said?
Yeah, I think the Celtics win in 6. Yeah, they might win in 5, but
Yeah.
I'm comfortable saying that Philly's going to win 2 games. I think they're good enough to win 2 games, and I don't think it's a fail or anything if they win in 6. It's just
Yeah.
I think Tyrese Maxey's that good, and VJ Edgecombe. I mean, he obviously looked really good in the playing game. I think he's the type of guy who's not going to be impacted by the playoffs, and he just plays really well against Boston. So I could see those two winning like game one. I think that's a game that with these series, a team could, that's usually how you get a victory is like early in the series and then maybe one home game. But that'll be it. The
Yeah.
Celtics will, by the time we hit game 5, um, the Celtics are just going to be the better team. And yeah, so.
Yeah, I could see it going 6. I think I'll probably pick it in 5. I think there's high-end talent on Philly, especially if Embiid was playing, and even if he comes back, it's hard to see how, coming off stomach surgery, how you can be overly effective. But, he's shown it before that he can be when he's hurt, so maybe he does.
Mhm.
I just feel like this is a series where a lot would have to go sideways for Philly to win 4 games. The Celtics would need a series-wide shooting slump like they had against Miami.
Yeah.
The difference is, though, now the Celtics are way less dependent on the 3 than they have been in the last few playoffs, especially over the second half of the season. I think they're like the shot differential is like 10 to 12% lower from 3 than what it has been. That has a lot to do with how they offensive rebound. They get a lot of offensive rebound, second chance opportunities, and it has a lot to do with Jaylen Brown getting to the free throw line.
And this is they're better suited playing this way for the playoffs now.
Yeah, so they have different ways they can beat you. And I also feel like this is also a team that in the past playoffs, and so with things that need to go wrong, they would have a lead and they'd squeeze that ball and really bog down their offense. Now, maybe that happens again because it's the playoffs and things get tight. But what we have seen this season, Mike, is a team that keeps playing Celtics basketball through the buzzer. Now, they might have bad possessions, they might have missed shots, but they're not holding it with 12 seconds left on the shot clock and then having only one option left. They're getting into their actions quick, even with leads, and giving themselves diversity within their offense. So, and then the third thing would have to be they'd have to be a lot of turnovers by the Celtics, a lot of fast break opportunities for the Sixers, and not just in one game over the course of the series for the Sixers to get 4 wins. And the Sixers lastly, I think would have to shoot extremely well from 3-point land, close to 40% throughout the series.
Yeah.
It's not impossible in a 7-game series that stuff can happen.
It's not happening, Jim.
I just think the Celtics team is much more suited to not allow something like that to happen, even if Philly is playing really, really well.
If that were to happen, then there would be serious discussions about a lot of things.
Yeah.
In this offseason. I don't think that's happening.
I just want to outline how it could happen. So ultimately, I'm picking the Celtics in 5. I could see it going 6, like you would say. I wouldn't be shocked if the Celtics swept. I guess I'd be mildly shocked, but somewhere 5 or 6. I think this thing.
I wouldn't be shocked if they swept. I would be shocked if it wasn't competitive. Like I do think through 3 quarters, these games are going to be entertaining, high scoring, and competitive. And in the 4th quarter, you're going to see championship basketball from the Celtics. That's what I think.
Maxey's a high caliber guy, just all the way around, not just a basketball player. He's just a high caliber teammate player. I hate that he's on the Sixers because I like him, and I don't want to like anyone on the Sixers. I also like VJ Edgecombe, so that I'm bothered by the fact that they play for the Sixers. Like I don't like Embiid. I think he's sloppy. I think
they're a pretty likable team minus Embiid.
And Paul George. Mine is Paul George, too. I don't know how likable he is anymore. I don't know.
Well, I'm thinking like Quentin Grimes. Like Andre Drummond seems like a cool dude that I would like to hang out with.
And he's played pretty well. He's
shooting threes.
He is.
The NBA is so stupid. Don't even get me started. Don't even get me started.
Hit a couple against Orlando.
Yeah, I know. I hate it.
I can't take anything from that win, although Orlando's just absolutely killing Charlotte, which I'm not super surprised at. I thought Charlotte was going to go out like a shrieking violet one way or the other in these playoffs. I just don't think they're mentally tough, and I don't think they're anywhere near where they need to be yet. Maybe they'll get there. I'm not sure Lonzo Ball will ever get there, but that's a whole other podcast, I guess.
Yeah.
But, I don't know what to take from that win. They played well down the stretch. They
That
also
game was wild.
had a chance to put Orlando in their tombstone in the third quarter, and they couldn't. They rushed shots and took bad shots for about a 5 minute stretch that kept Orlando in the game. So at one
Yeah, and
point it was
Orlando
like
helped them by
12-9 with 2 minutes left in the fourth for the quarter.
yeah. I mean, with Orlando, just keep the game close, and Pablo will just pee his pants.
Well, they're easy to defend too because Orlando, like you don't have to defend the 3-point line
Yeah, we're not
because they're afraid
playing
to take them.
Phillies.
Huh?
Yeah, we're not playing Orlando, so who
No, we're not. We're
cares?
playing. We're playing the Sixes. So that's my thought there, Mike. I do have a bonus question. It more relates to only the Celtics and not the series. So we know the biggest team worry is playing the Knicks, but about this Celtics team, what's your biggest concern? Not about who they play or whatever, heading into the playoffs. Is there a flaw? Is there a thing you're just not sure about yet? Is it experience? What's your biggest concern about this team going into the playoffs?
3-point defense and Derek White's 3-point shooting.
Those are fair concerns. I have
Yeah,
two.
so defending the 3-point line and Derek White's shooting. Yeah,
I'm worried about number one, our pick and roll defense, and maybe that goes hand in glove with the
kind of
3-point
does.
defense.
Yeah,
So like that, I think it all starts there in the Celtics' inability. And Cade it's not like he's great at it. He's fine, you know. But their inability to really cover the pick and roll makes me, I really do believe when they can match up, you're going to see Tatum at the 5 against different teams when they can do it. Obviously, that's not something you can do against the Knicks, but you will. I think you will see it in these playoffs. The other part of it, you mentioned Derek White shooting. I've been so impressed by Tatum, how quickly he's come back, his facilitating. I mean, the athletic moves he's making, the ability to shoot a step back three, how quickly he's moved to 40 plus minutes. I mean, it's been accelerated beyond anyone's wildest dreams. They are going to need some like scoring nights from him. And he is not in rhythm. He's had games where it's been better, obviously, but he is not gotten into a shooting rhythm yet. And there's a chance coming off this injury that it just doesn't happen this year. And I'm not sure they can win it without a few Tatum, and Jason Tatum games. Well, at least one or two where, he can't be stopped.
well, unless Jaylen Brown, this is who he is, and he's the number one guy.
Yeah.
And maybe the conversation in the offseason is that Tatum might be better suited as not the number one guy. I mean, they won a championship with Brown pretty much being the scorer. So let's see. I mean, his shooting has not been awesome in playoff runs, and they've made it really far. And the season that Brown has had, I wonder if it gives Tatum that room that he only has to average like 23 points a game and just continue to grab like 12 or 13 boards. Because Brown's been unstoppable. Brown's
Yeah.
been unstoppable.
I think the margin the margin of error for this team isn't huge. Like, I think they're really good. Like the team that won the championship a couple of years ago, their margin of error was really large. And that was clear by how they just rolled through the playoffs. And Tatum didn't have great shooting games. But in the past, even with Brown having some really good offensive games, they've needed like the game 6 performance in Milwaukee, the game 7 performance against the Sixers, the game 6 performance, the last 3 minutes of the game against the Sixers. They've needed these Tatum moments, and that's when the margin I think was smaller. So maybe you're right. Maybe it's Brown that occupies that space, but I do think they're going to need a moment or two from him like that if they want to win a championship. And I'm not sure they can win it without having a Tatum game or probably two. And I just don't know if that's available.
I think it's more that they're going to need games from Jaylen Brown to score like 40.
Yeah.
That's what they're going to need this year.
I think they might need both
Yeah. And we'll see.
at
I
different
mean,
times.
yeah.
Because it's going to
Jokic
be a game
doesn't.
where Brown's not on. That's going to be a must win. So can Tatum, or maybe that won't happen. But if it does, can Tatum fill that void and be an elite scorer?
Yeah, I don't. I think if he shoots less threes, yeah. I think if he goes to the basket and he's playing in between the 3-point line, then yeah. I think if he's hanging out launching threes, I think we've seen enough this season that that's probably not a good idea.
Yeah, you might be right though.
Yeah.
You might be right. All right, those are my questions, Mike. Getting us into round one of the playoffs. I don't know if there's anything you need to get off your chest, or you have something for me, but
Yeah, I have two things. The first thing, just the first round seems really less exciting this year. As I look around these postseason matchups, like Houston, LA, I think I'd rather like watch, um, like friggin' Washington play. Like I have no interest in that series. I'm only interested in OKC if I get to see them play Phoenix, just because of how hard Phoenix plays.
yeah,
But yeah, I think this first round of playoffs, like last year, felt a lot better. Like Orlando, Detroit, talk about unwatchable basketball. Maybe for the first round, like those games might end in the 80s.
yeah.
Um, you know,
The Minnesota Denver
Cleveland,
series should be,
Toronto. Do you have
yeah.
any interest in Cleveland, Toronto? Is there anything that excites you about that?
No, there's the New York Atlanta series, and New York I think should win, but I think we'll see some really good basketball there. Atlanta's not going to go down without fighting, and
Yeah.
they're skilled.
Let
Yeah,
me give you my sneaky good series that nobody's talking about because everybody's saying Minnesota, Denver. The Portland Trailblazers may not have the talent, but they play hard,
they do.
and San Antonio lacks a lot of experience, as does Portland outside of Drew Holiday.
As does Portland.
Um,
Yeah, as does Portland.
but I think there might be a couple games in there that might be really entertaining. So
Yeah, I
maybe
think
that
that's
series
wishful
goes
thinking.
5.
Yeah, maybe there's a game at the Rose Garden that gets exciting, but I don't think so. I don't think that Oklahoma City, whether it's Golden State or Phoenix, is going to be all that entertaining. I think Phoenix is kind of, what we saw in Boston. I don't know if that's there anymore.
And what we
Um,
just saw Steph do, I don't know if Phoenix is
yeah.
going to come out alive.
And then, that I do think that I think Minnesota is a lot better than people
Oh,
are
that series is
really,
going 7.
yeah, really giving them credit for. I think Minnesota has a puncher's chance of not just beating Denver, but like giving OKC everything they can handle. They have a lot of length, a lot of really good athletes. The issue with them is they're so inconsistent to playing to their level. And maybe that's because of injuries. I don't know. And then you can play Rudy Gobert off the floor, which is, always been a problem in the playoffs. But I really, they're a team I'm really interested in because I think they could surprise some people on how well they do in these playoffs.
Yeah, and Denver never really matches up with Ant, and Ant just shaved his head. It looks like Michael Jordan. You see what he did? He
I
lost a bet,
didn't.
so he had to like shave his head completely bald. He looks so weird. He looks so weird. I got to be honest. Like I
Yeah.
was looking at him, like I almost don't want to watch the series because of what he
Well,
looks
he
like.
has so many kids. Maybe he's just trying to hide from them. I
Does
ain't
he
your
have a lot
daddy.
of kids?
I
He
think so.
looks like the type of guy that would
Yeah,
want a big
I
family.
think so.
The way he
Um,
acts. My second thing I just wanted to say, I know sometimes we use this pod to like get something off our chest, or however you say it. This is my whatever. I'm going to talk about this. Um, I just wanted to say that I know that things are really tough right now on people. Things are really expensive. The job market's really bleak, and I get it. And especially the guys out there that are feeling a bit depressed. That's real. And I'll just say through my own experience that it's okay to ask for help. It's actually a good thing to ask for help, especially if you're a guy. And you'd be surprised that when you let your guard down, you let people see even your ugly parts, that they don't run away. They stay with you. They even tend to love you a lot more, and that you're not alone in this country. That you got a lot of people out there that care about you. And basketball for me is a good outlet, and having this podcast is great. And so find things that make you happy, but more importantly, if you're feeling alone, ask for help. That's all I'm going to say, because it is tough out there right now. I see people struggling every day, especially in the work that I do. Talking to a lot of parents in the work that I do, they're like, I'm going on Indeed, I'm applying to jobs, I got a good resume and it's just nothing out there for me. Like, this will pass. This too will pass, and you're worth the love in this world, and it'll get better. I just want to say that, Jim.
No, for sure. And we can put it in the show notes. There are hotlines out there that you can call if you're feeling depressed. Obviously, there's a suicide hotline that everyone knows, but it's never, ever too late to ask for help. And there are always people that love you and care about you. And if you listen to that pod, that means we love and care about you. And so take care of yourself. The James Dolan stuff, Mike, I'll give a quick 2-minute synopsis of this. This is really, really creepy. He has been apparently surveilling fans, his employees, reporters. He has hired one of the former tech executives from Oracle. Oracle is a surveillance company. He's bringing NSA people into his, and he's so thin-skinned. If you're a fan, you tweet bad things about you. You go to his arena. He's using facial recognition to get more information about you. He's stalking people where they live. He's like, apparently there are listening devices all over Madison Square Garden, which raises the question for me, are they in the locker rooms for the Rangers opponents and for the Knicks opponents? And I'm not saying this because the Celtics lost. The Celtics lost because they lost to a better team last year.
But these are the questions that are going to be asked.
If they're everywhere, why wouldn't he have them in there? And if you have devices of any type and, locker rooms where players are, there's also private conversations that are being recorded that have nothing to do with the sport that I'm sure he's eavesdropping on. And how is he using that information? So it's on Wired. We'll put the link to the article in those show notes. But look, I wouldn't tell a Knicks fan to stop rooting for their team, but this is a guy you should want out. And just because you're a fan of the team doesn't mean you have to accept it.
Oh, they want him out.
Yeah.
In New York, they want him out. Him and Steve Ballmer both got to go. Like these owners. I don't want to get into it because I'm going to get angry. But yeah.
And Adam Silver won't do anything about it.
That's the problem.
You know that he'll look the other way, just like how the NFL is looking the other way to Steve Tisch being all over the Epstein files and owning the New York Giants. These guys will just move on. And so the way you stop them from moving on, though, is you keep these stories going. You put pressure on them, and you make it so they can't ever walk away from it. And that's our jobs as a fan. More importantly, that should be the jobs of the reporters that cover these teams.
And they don't do that. That seems to do this.
They don't do that at all. Mike, so my closing thoughts are, fuck James Dolan. That's how I want to end this pod. And, because I don't like the Knicks, fuck the Knicks. So with that, go Celtics. Game 1 Sunday. I will be there. I can't wait.
Let's go. Game 1 Sunday. Enjoy the games.
Bye.
Bye.
That is, I'm again,
They're gonna call it a hard foul as part of the Tampa Sports Network. All production is done in-house out of Get the Hell Off My Yard Productions.